Yo guys, House here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about roster repair, and not to get like too much into the specifics of it, but more to help you out with a few pieces of advice that really help me in what I'm doing with my account, because every account's different, right? I can't give you the perfect advice, but what I can do is try and give you the mental strategies in order to help you succeed in Galaxy of Heroes. Man, I really had to think for the word succeed, let me tell you. So as we look through my roster, you can see there's a ton of abandoned projects in here. All of these characters that have galactic power on them, they got mods on them, they got gear on them, and I'm just not using them as we continue to go down and down and down. But as we look at it, there's still a lot of good characters in here that I'm just not using. And this is my first tip, is to finish out these characters that exist in the roster, right? There is no point in you farming a whole new team. Maybe you can farm one or two characters, right? But for the most part, you should be pulling your power, you should be bolstering your squads, you should be making your roster stronger by using what you already have. Because I'm sure you have a ton of characters in here that are good enough to be in GAC, are good enough for you to gear. It's just you don't see it because they're sitting at the bottom of your roster, right? A few caveats I would say are characters like Iden Versio that transform characters inside of your roster into good characters, right? If you're gonna farm a new character for a squad, I'd keep it probably down to one, because otherwise you're gonna get stuck in that loop again where you farm a whole new team, you don't finish it, you rinse repeat and start moving from that team that's not finished to another team, and the cycle continues. We're here to break the cycle, okay? We're gonna break the cycle. Now, my second piece of advice is it's a strategy that I call recycling characters. So as you can see with my Sith Triumvirate team that I have here, there's something I'm going to be farming a little bit in the future once I'm done with my current farms. But you can see it's a weird mixture of characters. We of course have the base of Traya, Nihilus, and Scion, but the two characters I have with them are characters that sit within extra factions along with Sith. This is kind of the most important part of recycling characters, right? So it's the whole point, really, is that Bastila Shan, this is not her home. This is her halfway house until we find her home. Same with Dooku. He's not here to stay. He will be here until the Separatists exist and he can go and hang out with them. So I'm still putting gear into them, and it's going to be worthwhile putting gear into them because they have fantastic synergies with the Sith Triumvirate. Bastila's going to make Traya tankier. Dooku hits twice, which works with them gaining health from Traya's leadership. It all works out. But once I've obtained Darth Revan, Bastila Shan is already up to snuff. She's ready. She's covered in gear. She's prepped and ready to just make him a worthwhile leader. You know, Count Dooku is going to do a ton of damage and be really quick, being able to go under that new Gunray lead and just slide right out of this. And then I can take other Sith that I don't have finished, like Sith Marauder, Sith Trooper, and hide them inside of this faction as well, up until I get them up and running. Or, you know, just other random Sith that shit in my Darth Talon. She can hang out here. Why not? And we just keep rinse, repeat with this faction. Other factions that are good at this, a couple examples I'll give you, will be like Jedi Knight Revan's fantastic for Jedi. Padme is great for Galactic Republic. Bosk is good for holding bounty hunters. You can always put Rebels under CLS until you get like the good Commander Luke Skywalker characters, you know. You have a couple characters I'd call mercenaries in like R2-D2 and what's his name? C-3PO, because they're able to sit inside of Rebel, Resistance, Droid, and what's the last one? Galactic Republic squads. Right? These big name squads that have a ton of characters, you're able to really push characters through these we'll call them pillar teams in like Jedi Knight Revan and Padme Amidala, right? You're able to filter these characters through these teams until you have their full potential team, right? That's another big piece of advice I'd give you. It's great for theory crafting, understanding how your characters work, and how they work on defense against you. So when you see like a mismatched team under the Galactic Republic banner, you're like, that's still kind of a problem because Padme still makes them good, right? You don't underestimate teams, and you don't overestimate teams because they look scary, and you're like, oh, well, actually, none of those characters have synergy. And my final piece of advice, and we've already talked about it, but I need to hammer it home, okay? We gotta bring the mic in a little bit. We need to finish our farms, okay? just in case you haven't been paying attention for a minute and you've just like tuned back into the video, this is the biggest piece of advice for you. When you favorite something, do not unfavorite it. Finish that character to whatever point it is you need them finished, right? For instance, this R2-D2, he's going to be here until he's Relic 7, and then bam, I'm done with him. Rey, similarly, till Relic 7. 3PO and Chewie, I think it's Relic 5. You know, I have all these points set because they're a part of like GLs, but there's other characters who don't have GL requirements that you should still have like an end game for. Like Jedi Knight Revan, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be Relic 7ing that guy once he gets into my favorite tab. But once I put him there, I should never, ever stop with that farm until he's done. Because it's just going to waste my time. If I have him at an ineffective level, what's the point of having gear on him? If he's not doing his job well enough and I need more gear on him, but I refuse to give him gear, I'm just sitting here and burning my own GAC away. And that's like the biggest tip I can give you, is to just finish your farms. If you finished your farms, your account wouldn't look similar to mine. If your account looks similar to mine, I'm just, you know, I'm making kind of an assumption. Maybe you know, we've gotten this far because we're the same. You feel me? But that's really it, man. That's all I've got for you. None of these are really big. What's the word I'm looking for? Like execution tips, in the sense of like, yeah, go farm this specific node or farm this specific team. But it's just more like these broader strokes that you should still be following, even if you're farming what some people would call like a bad team. Having that team finished versus having that bad team half geared and a good team half geared, it's gonna do you a lot better than having, you know, two dog turds. If you have one okay, good decent team, the two dog turds will be sad because your decent team will just clean the floor with them. Other than that, I'd love to hear any advice you have for me, because like I said, I am rebuilding my roster currently. So any advice you have, maybe you see something that sits inside of my roster, you're like, man, you should probably work on that next. You know, let me know. I'd love to hear it. You got some cool secret ways to get the most out of your farming nodes. I'd love to hear that too. And tell me your favorite team, and if it's not CLS, maybe we can't be friends, but we can be acquaintances. I'd love that. I'd love to hear it. Other than that, you know, it's time to go. I'm going to keep ranting until this video ends. So it's time to end it now. Later.